Hi, Star Journey. Hello, hello. Hi, Christina. I'm gonna mute myself real quick so I can get some ice water and then we'll get started. But hello, everyone. Welcome in. Hi, user. I just started the first episode, user. Hi, yes, it's Super Raya, Super Aya. I don't know. Tell me right. Hi, Mita. Hello, hello. Welcome in, everyone. I'm gonna mute myself so I can get some ice water real quick. Hi, Janelle. Hi, Doreen. Hello, hello. Hi, thank you so much, Doreen. Hi, Dahlia. Listen, user, even just what I've already seen in the first half of the first episode, baby, I have thoughts. So I haven't finished it. I have not finished it yet, but I will say, Sparkle Megan, sis. Hi, Foxy. Sparkle Megan, she's not single because she's successful. Hi, Breezy. So I don't know if y'all have already started watching it, but user inboxed me like, hey, have you started Love is Blind yet? And I was like, girl, I forgot about it until you just said something. So I went and started watching. Hi, Sandra. I went and started, or Sandra. My granny was Sandra, but I don't know how you say yours. I went and started watching, and baby, Sparkle Megan is not single because she's successful, y'all. No, not France, Breezy. The Denver one just started, so it's US again. And they just, hi Bay, hi Amazing Grace. They just dropped 6 episodes at one time. Like, they definitely are trying to give you some shit to binge this weekend, okay? So I love that. But halfway through the first episode, so Megan, Sparkle Megan, she's not single because she is successful, y'all. She's single because Sparkle Megan is unclear about who she is in relationships. What do I mean by that? Sparkle Megan talking about, to Mike, was it? How she likes traditional gender roles. Hi, Mompy. Hi, Sab. How she likes traditional gender roles, right? Hi, Mia. But you also were in the oil and gas industry, very successfully so. You're now starting your own business, right? That doesn't align with someone that wants to do traditional gender roles, right? This is not to say that you cannot be successful, but I need y'all, listen, I need you to understand. Hi, Dee. Hi, Emma. I need you to understand the amount of work it takes to care for a child and to tend a household. It is a whole job. That's not, as someone that used to be a stay-at-home parent and quickly realized, oh, this shit is for the birds. I'm good. I'm gonna go back to work. But it is a whole job, right? There are people that are chefs. There are people that are housekeepers. There are people that are nannies because they are whole jobs. Being a traditional stay-at-home partner is 3 jobs in one at the very minimum. And then you're also expected to like show up for your partner in the romantic relationship, right? But you're someone that is starting your own business, baby. How you gonna be working 12, 16-hour days getting your business off the ground and still cleaning his dishes? It's gonna play out very quickly. And what I think probably happens in her relationships is she gets in and she leads with what she said to Mike, right? Oh, I believe in traditional gender roles, right? Which is like she subscribes to the patriarchy in a very particular way, right? Hi, Sweet Pea. She leads with that, but then her actions don't match that. And I bet you that's where the disconnect happens. So she reads it as they're intimidated by my success, because that probably ends up being like a fight in their relationship about how much time she puts into her career, but really what it is a miscommunication about where you actually are. You're telling them you want to do these traditional things, but then you're not behaving in a traditional way. And her argument, which is totally valid, right, is probably, well, you're not my husband, you're just someone I'm dating. But baby, you led with that. And when people date, they date to marry. So they're expecting you to show up that way in dating, the way that you're saying you want to show up as a wife. Why would they just believe that all of a sudden it's going to switch? Right? So then she perceives that as, oh, they're intimidated by my success, rather than understanding they're seeing a misalignment with what I'm saying versus what I'm doing. And she's giving like ultimate pick me, in my opinion, right? Because here's the thing. She was talking to Mike, who was like down with what she was saying, which he was testing the waters. For him to say, so how would you feel if I left a whole bunch of dishes on the sink, in the sink on the counter, whatever he said, like, was already him testing the waters to see what is she willing to bend around. And she was like, oh, well, I'd be happy to clean up behind you. She didn't say it like that, right? But she's like, well, I believe in traditional gender roles, so like, I'd be okay with that. Do you think might have a problem being submissive and turning off boss? Breezy, do you mean her particularly? Hi, Natanya. Do you think, like, are you asking me about Sparkle Megan particularly? No, and don't tell me. Let me, I like to watch it without a bunch of other information. I like to just see what I see. Because Mike was already, I think that she might, right? And here's the thing. I'm not even against her argument, because what I think probably happens is she's like, well, you're not my husband. You're just a guy that I'm dating. Why would I do all of these? What we say all the time, why would I give wife benefits to a boyfriend, right? That's probably the way that she's framing it. But I'm also curious if she's so involved in her career, and she said she really prioritized her career, right? If she's so involved in her career and her success is very important to her, she leads with that, right? I think that in her mind, she's aligned with an idea that I don't think actually fits her lifestyle or what she actually wants for herself. You cannot be someone that is so ambitious that you want to start a career. You want to start a whole business as your career. You're not ambitious like that. And then you're going to be like, oh, it's fine. I'm going to give it up so that I can like tend to you and our children in the household. I'm sorry. It's a misalignment, I think. I think she's not honest with her own self. Right? Which is not uncommon. Lots of us see this social expectation around marriage and around wives, and we think that we align with that, and then we have to put it into practice, and it might be like, oh, actually, maybe. But I think that she's not doing the self-reflection, and she's just reading it as they are intimidated by my success, rather than recognizing where she's misaligned with what she's saying she wants and how she wants to show up versus what she's actually doing. And so she probably needs to do like a reworking of the way that she understands her role in her relationship dynamic. I would say this about her too, right? The reason it was giving pick me to me, hi, House 7 of Goddess. The reason it was giving pick me is because she was talking to the one guy, I can't remember his name, but the guy that had all the tattoos, who very much is not what she said she wanted. He's not financially in a position to be the provider and let her do all of those things. These things that she said she wants. Jordan, thank you. He's not that. He's not that, right? He's a parent already. He's been snipped already, right? Like there are some things that fundamentally, yes, he said he would get it reversed, right? But there are some things that are fundamentally on her list that she said she wanted that he's not. And she was just like, yeah, I want to, yeah, for sure. We can keep talking. Like, why? Why, Sparkle Megan? Because you just want to be picked. You just need somebody. And that level of desperation is going to get in her way with a successful relationship. So that's my thoughts about her already. And I'm only halfway through the first episode. And then I definitely have thoughts about Edmund and Calabria. Calabria and Edmund. Exactly, user MS. Exactly. So the fact that she's willing to ignore that for another conversation to me means you're not actually serious about what you want. You're maybe just saying whatever you think the man wants to hear because you want to be picked. You got to not be so male-centered in that way, right? And then as soon as she realizes, oh, I don't actually want this, then the relationship blows up, right? So I think that there is some self-reflection that needs to happen. But literally every time I watch Love is Blind, I say this. I'm like, these people don't need to be in pods, they need to be in therapy. Yes, user MS, like, yeah, to me, I think a lot of the people don't need to be in pods, they need to be in therapy. Like, Edmund, so sweet, really adorable, but he really aspires to have this wonderful, loving, beautiful family. I cannot wait to talk about this show, y'all. I'm literally only halfway through the episode, and these people are so much good content already. I think that's super sweet, and he needs to go to therapy. He needs to go to therapy. That trauma is right on the top still. Right on the top. And not only is it right on the top, but he is attempting to build a family to fill a hole of something that he did not receive in childhood. That's never going to work. That's never going to work, baby. Oh, I know, user MS. I'm like, if I already have this much, if I'm already seeing this much halfway into the first episode, I already know by the time I get to episode 6, I'm going to be like, oh my God, get them all off my screen. But like, that's never going to work. When you are building a family as a way to heal a wound, you are going to need your family to be experienced and show up in a very particular type of way. Because what Edmund is trying to do, right, is he wants to be to some child what he did not have as a parent. And that is okay on the surface. But what happens when your child needs something different than what you think a child is supposed to need based on what you felt like you needed? Are you going to be able to show up? Or are you going to feel triggered? I will give you an example of this, okay? Y'all know Chris, my husband. Y'all know that Chris grew up in the foster. His story is very similar to Edmund's in a lot of ways. He grew up in the foster care system. Y'all know these things.
You just telling all my business, huh?
Nigga, you done told this.
Did I?
Yes.
Oh, shit. I don't remember.
And so one thing that's really important to Chris is that he's a super present parent. Like, he is present as fuck for his kids. Obviously, the systems, the schools, the doctors, everybody wants to call me first. I'm like, I don't know, call Chris, child. Like, right? But Chris is a very active parent, coaching his, our youngest son's flag football team, showing up to literally every game. I got to leave work early because my baby got a game. He is their biggest fan, number one supporter, right? And Malachi, our youngest son, last year was playing basketball after the football season and was like, yeah, I don't really want y'all at my games. Like, it's a little embarrassing when y'all be there because we are the parents that be doing a lot. A lot. I grew up with my sister coming to all of my events, screaming my name. So that's how I show up for my kids because it felt good, right? That feels embarrassing to our children. So having to adjust, and this is a small thing. Oh, yeah, I have 4 kids. This is a small thing. This is a small thing, right? But Chris had to hold like, ooh, I feel a way about my kid telling me they don't want me to come to the game because I'm just trying to love them. I'm just trying to show up for them and really sit with the fact of like, ultimately, that's not what my kid needs from me. Malachi's like, I know that y'all love me and support me. But chill out. And he had to sit with that, right? And so if you're not careful, if you're not doing your own work as a person to heal your shit, you're going to have an expectation about how you show up as a parent based on what you wanted, despite what your kid needs. And will you be able to adjust and navigate that? Edmund has to go to therapy. He has to go to therapy, right? And him and Calabria will work for a period of time because Calabria is a social worker. So she's going to be able to do all of that emotional lifting, all of that emotional tending, right? Because that's what she's literally trained to do. As a therapist, right? And then at some point it's like, okay, hold on now. You have to deal with your shit. It's only gonna be cute for so long, right? I really liked the one girl, Allie, who clocked Anton and was like, you sound like you suppress your emotions though. Cause he's like, I'm very stoic and like da-da-da-da-da. They would work for, if she hadn't recognized that, because that's going to be, she's a nurse. So again, this dynamic of the emotionally unavailable man or the emotionally stunted man or the trauma-ridden won't go to therapy man and the caretaker woman. That gets played out real fast. So I was glad that she asked him that directly and I hated his answer. I hated his answer because he thinks that emotion, like him suppressing his emotions. Hi, Lizzie. He thinks that, or Anton thought him suppressing his emotions is only about, well, I don't need you to like do anything with my emotions. Like I'll tend to them myself. But you suppressing your own emotions, how are you going to be able to show up for mine? How are you going to be able to show up for mine? Nikki H, I'm running through. I've only watched the first half of the first episode of Love is Blind in Denver that just started. It just came out today, I think at like 1 a.m. or something. And I'm just giving my quick thoughts about a couple of the people already. So if you can't hold your own emotions, baby, you're going to struggle to hold other people's as well. You're not even always going to realize that you need to. Right? So Anton, his answer being like, oh, well, don't worry. Like, I'll take care of my own emotions, to me already signals you don't even realize that question is also about, can you hold mine? Are you going to share with me when something is going on? Or am I going to have to guess what's going on because you want to shove it down and keep it to yourself? So that's my quick, only first half of the first episode thoughts, y'all. Like, it's going to be content. Very, very good. Very, very good. Very, very good. Already. And I stand by my thoughts that these people need to be in therapy and not in a pod. They need to be, or can we have therapists on site? Hi, Alicia. Hi, Allie. Yes, it's going to be so good, Allie. No, for real, user MS. We did just start T. We did. Yeah, so I really need them to, I think it's going to be really juicy this season. They are a mess. Oh my God, Anna is one of my favorites already. First of all, she's a fucking baddie. Anna is fine as fuck, okay? And Anna is so fun. Hi, Tata, she's so fun. Wait, I'm not going to like her later. Okay, I like her so far. The first half of the first episode, I've only seen her on the screen one time in the first half. I've only seen her the one time talking to the other Asian guy. That's the only person. No, the Asian guy and the white guy. So I've only seen her twice on my screen so far. But she's gorgeous. Like, gorgeous. A whole baddie out here. I mean, all the women are like really beautiful that I've seen so far on the screen. Men, they're tolerable. Hi, Stars Journey. Yes, KB is gorgeous. I get curious about, she is a social worker. So I hope that she can clock the dynamic between her and Edmund pretty early on and not fall into the role of the caretaker and the caregiver, because she does that for her job. So she shouldn't also have to do that in her romantic relationships, right? But I really like her. I do not like Sparkle Megan so far. Mike gives me red pill vibes so far. First half of the first episode. I liked Jordan. I was underwhelmed by him saying that Sparkle Megan was like his top choice right now. I'm like, were y'all having the same conversation? And then what was the other guy? The Asian guy. What was his name? I don't remember his name. I liked him with Anna, but not shocked that he said Casey based on how he said he dated Patrick. Yeah. I really liked him and Anna together. Like, they were fun to watch together so far. But not shocking that he picked Casey based on what he said his dating history was. Okay. Those are my quick initial thoughts. But we will definitely be getting into Love is Blind, y'all.
So far.
No, he did say Casey when he was talking to the guys. And at least in the first part that I've watched. He said, I really liked Casey, blah, 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 blah. Whatever he was saying to the guys when they initially went back to the room. Maybe it changes. But that's what he said in the very beginning when they kind of like exchanged notes about who they're kind of like paying attention to. That's when Jordan said Sparkle Megan too, I think. But again, this is only the first like 27 minutes of the first episode. So we'll see what else comes. But that's where I am right now, just on like initial looking at. of folks. Okay, let's talk about Love Island games. No, Dream Girl, we're getting ready to start it right now. User came in, and so then me and User were just yapping about, because User had inboxed me and asked if I had started Love is Blind yet. So they reminded me, so I went and watched like the first half of the first episode before I came on. But we will definitely be talking about Love is Blind. I'm excited for Love is Blind. I know Kendall is out of the villa. I'm excited for Love is Blind because everybody is so much older. So I know the fan base will be older. So we won't have the cray-crays like we do with Love Island.
That's what you hope.
Hi, Huda. I feel like I haven't seen you in forever.
You say that every time she comes in.
Because I haven't. Okay, how do I feel about Justine and Tyreek and Kendall being gone? Okay. Y'all, I don't know if I have new feelings about Justine. Oh, I love that for you, Huda. I mean, I know it's exhausting, but also, I love that you're locked in and getting done what you need to get done with school. Who said that Kendall is gone? I should get the lottery. I said Kendall versus Josh. Yeah, it was Kendall versus Josh. And Josh took Kendall out. Kendall gave him a pretty good run for his money, at least in that second round. But Josh just happened to get it in that last second, which is what it always boils down to and what matters. You know what I mean? Here's the thing about Kendall. Y'all know I'm about to get on his head a little bit. Just a tiny bit. Just a little bit. That man quite literally moved Garby off of his body so that he could go over and hug Lucinda, who was draped over him, sobbing. Lucinda, you put him there. You put him there. Not Kendall pushing Garby to hug Lucinda was like Taylor jumping over a Landry to get to Nick. Child, like, huh? Oh, I didn't even notice that, T. Nicholas. I be trying to pay attention to them too on my screen, but I be so like annoyed with them. Yes, that is what stuck out for me the most, User, because Garby came over and she was hugging him, and then he kind of like turned her to the side and she kind of was like still holding him, but he like continued to move her off of him so that he could go hug Lucinda. And I was just like, yeah, because Garby, baby, you're beautiful, but it was never going to be you for Kendall. She doesn't know that though. And so she'll watch the episodes back, hopefully. It's hopefully not that traumatizing for her to watch it back. And she'll be able to see. She'll be able to see, right? And once Garby was safe, I knew that Kendall had to go home. He has to go home because what was the danger if he stayed was that he was going to keep playing in her face. Right? And then she was going to get out that villa thinking it was something else than what it was. And so I'm glad that he's gone. 29 and 22 is too much of an age difference. I do not care. That is 7 years. 7 years and her brain is not developed. Again, we're not talking about 35 and 42. We're not talking about, 32 and 39. We're talking about 22 and 29. No. She's way too green for that man. And he was playing in her face very successfully. Renasu, I don't know if I believe that. Garby couldn't care less that Kendall was gone, to be honest. I think that Garby thinks it's going to be something on the outside. I think she likes that man. Y'all can't convince me otherwise until she tells me she didn't like that man. Because everything she was giving was she was into him and into it and was not able to pick up on the fact that he was playing a game. Right? T, I think that Garby didn't want to cry on TV, but if you notice, all of the black women act like that. all of the black women act like that. Like they hold it in even when they want to, which is very interesting to notice to me. Because to me, she seemed very obviously like trying to like push it back in, hold it in. I watched her kind of catching that breath, right? Like trying to really like push it back down, you know? And I hate that they feel like they can't cry. And I hate that she even wanted to cry about him. Because he is not as in it as she was. Why is she trying to hold it back? I think that, you know, I don't know Garby, right? I don't know Garby. All I can speak to is like black women's experiences. And there is definitely an idea, a concept that we get taught around like needing to be strong, needing to like hold it together, needing to push through. She very well may feel like I don't have time to be sad about it because I have to stay in the game. I have to stay focused. You know what I mean? Like I can't let my mind be clouded and distracted. I can't get caught up in my emotions. I have to just push through. You know what I mean? Hold on, I'm actually going to talk about that because a couple of people have said it. So I can see her feeling like she needs to just push through. She needs to be resilient. Oh, it's 100% bullshit. I agree 100%. And it has very like long-standing historical reasons as to why little black girls are raised to be that way, right? Because unfortunately there was a time, and she's not from here, right? But I imagine her experience wasn't that different in Belgium and Netherlands as a black person in a predominantly non-black country, right? That, you know, you're going to have certain experiences where if you allow yourself to be hurt every time you have that experience, you walk around hurt all the time. So you learn to protect yourself, to put up a wall, to manage those emotions, right? Which is unfair. It's unfair. It's not fair at all. And you have to do some armoring in order to get through life. Yeah, Wander laughs. It is a very deeply, like it's bullshit. I won't even get into all of it. But yes, it is a hard thing to do. Yep, that makes sense, user MS. About Nicola going home the way she went home. Y'all, I'm still not convinced the girl went home. And I know that I'm probably being delulu, right? But I noticed if y'all remember last season when Nick and Olandria left Casa, they said that person will immediately be leaving the villa, but they didn't say they're going to be dumped from the island. We never heard them say Nicola was dumped from the island. That never happened. And even in the app, they asked a question about like, do you feel like the right guy was dumped from the island? And then they said, what will you miss most about Nicola? And I noticed that. I was like, that's interesting, because that's interesting that they used the language they used. And maybe it means nothing. Maybe it's completely innocuous, but I be wondering. And I'm like, I wonder if there's like some level of, they're going to let her stay so long as she signs some like legal stuff around if you were to get hurt because you choose to continue in the games, that you can't sue. I don't know, user MS. I will believe it when she is no longer there. And they did a lot of talking. Listen, y'all got to pay attention to the way to be editing this shit. They had the girls talking a lot about how much they were sad that she went out the way she went out. They were sad that they didn't get to say goodbye to her. They were sad. Like, why are we talking so much about it? Why are we getting so much airtime about it? I don't know. I just would not be shocked by them choosing to throw a curveball. Okay, so the dumped Islanders were on live this morning, and they ain't seen Nicola yet from what you could tell. Yeah, I'm not convinced, y'all. I'm not convinced. I don't know. Maybe they did. Maybe they dumped her for real. Like, maybe they did. But I wouldn't be shocked if because she was advocating to stay. She wanted to keep playing the duel. She didn't give a fuck. She didn't give a fuck. She wanted to at least fight. You know what I mean? Why are y'all praying that she's dumped? Like, she she wanted to keep fighting. It wasn't like Chris, right, where he said, "Oh, I'm hurt. I wanna forfeit." Right? And even with Chris, when listen, listen, my fucking little conspiracy ass fucking brain. Maybe she was T, but maybe she wasn't. Maybe she wasn't. And maybe they'll have them duel again. I don't know. But I feel like that could be unfair to Garby. That round was very close, Kay. So I think it would be hard to know if she was actually going to lose that round. So here's the thing. When Chris got hurt, they still had him stand up there, right? And he still said, like, hey, I'm I don't want to lose a finger. And they said, the medical team recommends that you don't keep playing. So he basically forfeited his round, right? That's what happened, right? Nicola, they said they talked to the medical team. She is doing a lot better. She's feeling a lot better, blah, 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 blah. Why didn't they have her come out then and then say, because you're unable to, continue on, you're safe, and they didn't do that. And so that is curious to me. I noticed that. And I appreciate it, but also hate. I kind of hate that they had to give a disclaimer of, we all saw it, we know it was an accident, so that the fucking fans don't get online being anti-black fucking assholes to Garby, acting like that girl did that shit on purpose. That's exactly what I think has happened, is that she's being analyzed for a concussion. And so I think that we could see it being, they hold her for actual observation for a couple, you know what I mean? People are so exhausting because clearly it was a fucking accident. I actually thought they were going to make the boys put on headgear after that accident, but they didn't. Which I thought was a choice, on their part. For sure. Because what if it had happened again? What if it had happened again? And I know that they have entire legal teams. Hi, Gia. I know they have entire legal teams. So I know that that makes sense. I know that they are probably have them signing all sorts of paperwork about any sort of injuries they may incur, blah, 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 blah. Y'all are right. That's what someone's saying. Adding headgear would admit fault on their place, because why didn't they have headgear in the first round? I get that. If they had let the boys wear headgear, then it would have been like, oh, so then you knew that you should have had the girls wear headgear. I also think it could have been spun as we saw that we did another risk assessment at that point and realized there was a higher risk. And so we wanted to make sure we kept our Islanders safe. Yeah. Listen, accidents happen, and what science does is it takes in more information. Y'all should have reassessed risk at that time and been like, yeah, there's actually a risk of something we didn't recognize before. Let's go ahead and give them headgear. But whatever, everybody made it out safe in the second one. I don't know. I don't know if they test the games out. I mean, and to be frank, there's always going to be some level of risk. You know what I mean? There's going to be some level of risk, but I don't know. That's a good question. I would assume they probably do. But yeah, so I'm not convinced, y'all. We'll see. I don't know. I just feel like they chose very interesting wording. And I noticed that they did the same thing when it came to the Casa dumpings last season. And so I am very curious to see what actually happens with her. And she might just be in the hospital, and that's why the other Islanders haven't seen her, because they're making her do full, assessments to make sure she's okay. That obviously also could be happening. They're probably still in Fiji because they might be doing what they did last season. So last season, what they did is they had all the dumped Islanders watch the entire show and then come back and vote on which 3 couples they wanted to see go into the final. So that could be happening with this season too. And so they would still be in Fiji if that's the case. And they're making them watch the show. Oh yeah, it was very clearly an accident. Like very clearly an accident. Garvey wasn't even looking at her. She picked it up and threw it. Was already going to the next ball. Like it was. She wasn't like, like, what are y'all talking about? Well, Chris. Just kidding. How do you know Chris isn't in Fiji anymore? Did he already post something being somewhere else? Yeah, she wasn't. She was literally just throwing the ball. She wasn't even looking at the girl when she threw it. Anybody that's saying something else is just being a weirdo. Charlie is in the UK. Chris was seen at the airport. The other thing, he said something about a brunch. He's not in Fiji. I mean, you could leave and come back. I don't know why Mert and Solin would still be there unless they just like use it as a holiday. Like, hey, I already had all these, I already told my job I was going to be gone for X amount of time, so I'm going to stay gone. But it could be like it was. And I will say last season, not everybody came, like Megan didn't come back last season to vote either. I don't know if they'll bring them back to the show. Except to maybe do the boat. So Lynn, KK, and Andreina were all with Mert. Yeah. So yeah, like it could be similar to what they did last season. Chris may have been like, I don't give a fuck. You know, he a little crybaby. So he may have been like, I'm not going back to do that. I'm about to go back to my sister's house. You know what I mean? Babe, he ain't gonna come back and show that his finger ain't broken for real. You are too funny. And he might just be bitter. You know what I mean? It affects the couples, Ransu. So the way that it worked is 4 couples. Listen, Birdie, you know I gotta throw a little shade in there. So the way that it worked last season, Ransu, is 4 couples make it to the final couples. And then the Islanders that got dumped came and they did similar voting where they stood behind the couple that they wanted to go into the final. And so 3 couples went into the final. So like Selly and I don't remember how to say the boy's name, but Selly and her dude ended up not going into the final because they didn't get enough votes from the dumped Islanders. It ended up being Johnny's coupling, Justine's coupling, and Callum's coupling. So Lynn called KK a bitch. When did that happen? When did Solin call KK a bitch? When she was like, when she got dumped? I don't even be listening to her. Oh, when she said it directly to KK, is that what y'all are talking about? And she was like, you little bitch, about dumping her or whatever. Okay, yeah. I think I also like, to me, that wasn't a big deal. To me, that was like to me, I took it as a joke. Like, I don't know what their relationship is, but it didn't seem like there was any beef from KK about it. So I didn't read it as beef. Like, I feel like they both laughed in that moment, did they not? That said, people are coming for KK because people are fucking anti-black, y'all. Y'all know the answer to that question already. Y'all already know the answer to that question. They're only coming for KK because they're anti-black. That's it. That's it. It ain't deep. And they just don't realize they are.
Why you smell so good, girl?
They don't realize they are, or they don't want to admit that they are, right? Like it ain't deep. The easiest answer is usually the answer, y'all. User MS, I heard that she said that on another show. I didn't watch her on the other show. I'm not saying that she's not anti-black as well. I'm just saying the reason why people said that about KK is because they are. I guess here's the thing. If I had seen Solin only have beef with black women on the show, I might have chalked that moment up to something different. But or not that it was beef, right? But like she was a smart ass to everybody on the show. It wasn't just reserved for the black women, right? Whereas like that was my problem with that one girl from last season, right? Is you only ever crying when a black woman is saying something to you. What is that about? Right? Yeah, she just seems like she's kind of, she literally said out of her mouth, "Oh, I picked you, Mert, because I could tell that you didn't want me to." Like she's just that way. She's just that way. And that doesn't mean that she doesn't have anti-black tendencies, but I didn't see it as a reflection of the anti-blackness. I think she's just an asshole. And she's also anti-black, but that moment did not feel like a reflection of the anti-blackness. Like she's just kind of a jerk. It's a combination of the two. Hi, Mish. So yeah, I will be interested to see if they bring the Islanders back that got dumped this season like they did last season. What do I think about Johnny? I try not to think about Johnny. No, I don't know, y'all. I don't really have no deep thoughts about Johnny other than like Johnny is himself. Like, I don't know. Johnny to me is giving Johnny to me is giving pretend. He's pretending a lot right now. And what I mean by that is, right, and I said this on my other live, I guess a couple of nights ago, right, is like, he was doing this like dance up. I'm trying to take accountability. I'm trying to like show up and be empathetic and be emotionally mature. But then he also, oh, I guess I'm just a villain. Oh, I guess this, right? So it's like you're not being for real. And when you're pretending, eventually the mask will slip. And I think that it's going to, right? That's just who he is. That's how it's going to play out with him, right? So to me, I don't see Johnny as anybody other than like himself. He seems like maybe he went to therapy and got some therapy speak, but I don't know if he has like actually done deep enough work yet to actually be a different person, which he needs to get on top of if he's going to be somebody's father. A boy or a girl. And I know he has a daughter, but anybody's father, he's going to need to do that deeper work. Do I think he'll stick with Gabby? He will stick with Gabby as long as the same thing as Andreina. As long as it is advancing his gameplay, he will stick with that person. As soon as it feels like it is threatening his gameplay, he's out. He's out. Right? And the thing with Johnny is that Johnny can't only focus on gameplay. Johnny also wants his little shit tickled. You know what I mean? Like he can't do just one. He can't do just one. And so when certain things play out or get played out, you know what I mean? He be ready to do the next thing. That's how he rolls. So if somebody else comes in that he thinks is going to be a strong competitor that he's also attracted to, he's going to move around. That's what he's going to do. Johnny did to Andreina exactly what other people have done to her that makes her feel like it's not safe to open up. And then all he did was prove her wrong, or prove her right, I'm sorry, that she doesn't need to open up because you said it to her, and then not even 24 hours later, you have moved on to someone else and put her in danger. You were willing to threaten her game for the sake of yours. It was a toss to the side, and then had the audacity to be in her face talking about some, you're not dead and I'm not dead. You know, we can try on the outside. Boy, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. And that's why for me, Andreina is always going to get her 10s. Because the way her foot never came up off that motherfucker's neck the whole episode, yeah. It's that. It's up and it's stuck. Fuck you. And I like that. I like that. You know what I mean? Girl, no. Don't give him nothing. And she looked so talked out by that last talk. Like, she was so... Why are you... He pulled her, what, like 4 times? 3-4 times that episode? Why are you pulling me again? Boy. Because he wanted to process his guilt through her. That's all that shit was about. He felt guilty and he needed her to give him an out in his guilt. No, fuck you. You're going to have to hold that. Oh, well. Too bad. So sad. Andreina is the epitome of show me who you are and I believe you the first time. And I like that. Does it make her extra guarded in some ways? Yes, but I do like that she's like, you don't got to keep proving to me who you are. I believe you. I seen it. I believe you. I'm good. Like, that's what Justine is getting on my nerves about at this point with Tyreek. Someone said, what about Justine trying to warn her and she didn't believe her? I don't think that she didn't believe her. She was just saying that's not my experience. But as soon as she experienced it, she was like, okay. I don't think it's anything wrong. It would be different if she had been watching him in the villa do it to other girls. All she knows is what y'all are telling me. I haven't seen him do that, so I don't know that to be true. Now, Gabby, you've seen him do it, right? Even Jess last season, you seen him do it. So all that you being mad about, he's a snake, he's a this, he's a that. Girl, you watched him playing you and fucking Liberty. You just thought you got picked. And then you realized you didn't. But you knew who that motherfucker, you were watching that motherfucker do that. You thought you were going to be the exception. You're bad. Right? But Andreina was saying, well, I haven't seen him do it. I haven't experienced him that way. She didn't watch him do that with anybody else for her to be like, okay, yeah, no. All she knows is what she's experiencing and then what you're saying. Right? Yes, I think they will keep trying to get Josh out. Maybe, yeah, all she had to do was watch season 3. But here's the thing, though. Like, do we never give people an opportunity to be different, right? This is why I tell y'all, like, I don't want you to tell me how people were on their seasons because I want to get a read for who they are right now today. I want to see who they are right now because people evolve and change. Like, I hope, right? They at least have the capacity to. So I always want to see where are you and how are you right now? Maybe that's a reflection of who you were, but maybe it's different. And I want to give you the opportunity to be different, right? No, listen, like Sydney said, Johnny gonna be on Love Island season 80. Oh, Johnny is definitely the same. Johnny is definitely the same as far as like, I want to be better now because I have a daughter. I just cannot stand men that function like that. I'm sorry. So you didn't realize that women were whole human beings that deserve respect and care and love and compassion until you had a woman as an extension of you? This is why I don't be on that train when men be like, yeah, I protect women and the only women they talking about is their mama, their sisters, and they cousin. Like, no, you only protect women that you feel like you have some sort of ownership around or that belong to you in some way. My mother, my sister. You don't protect women. You protect the ones attached to you. And that is about you protecting your own self because let's clock it for real. If you know history, then you know that rape laws were never about protecting women. They were about protecting men's property, the dad's property. You had soiled the property. And so now you need to pay the dad back for what you did to his property. So no, I don't be on that shit. That shit don't impress me. And the thing is, he's using the child to act like he's mature, like he wasn't on the season last season while she was pregnant with his kid. So why you wasn't moving different then? Because I do believe having a child can mature you. It can grow you. Absolutely. If you allow it to. If you realize, oh shit, I got shit coming up. I need to deal with that shit in therapy. Da-da-da-da. Absolutely. But you didn't know that last season? When you had a baby on the way? Oh, okay. Okay. So yeah. Y'all asked me what I thought about Justine and Tyreek. She's pissing me off with this man. And here's the thing. Only usually matures women. My sister made a video where she was like, women have children or women become mothers Women become mothers and men have children, and there's a difference. Right? And yes, we know that you are an anomaly, you have your one, but again, your singular experience doesn't negate research, overwhelming research, right? The overwhelming experience, right? Yes, there are always anomalies, right? That's the way that science works. There will always be an outlier, right? So yes, I agree with that. Justine is acting like she likes this toxic fling with Tyreek. I hope it's an act. It's not, babe. It's not. Hi, Rhea. Hi, Rachel. Hi, Ryan. Hi, Gigi. Listen, I actually don't think it's entertaining. I don't. I hate seeing women that I perceive as strong, powerful, intelligent, beautiful women being played by mediocre ass men. I don't like it. To me, that's not entertaining. Hi, boo. Hi, boo. I don't like it. Like, I want more for you. Oh, thank you so much. Do I think they're playing each other? I think she's being played. And to an extent, I think that he likes her because he likes the chase. He likes the game of it all. He likes the game of it all. What do you mean by that question? Why are we saying it's not a pretense? I think he likes the game of it all. I think she actually likes him. Like, I think she's attracted to him, right? Which, that's fair. That's fair. I think she's attracted to him physically. I think she likes his smooth talking. I think she has fun with him as far as like they giggle and stuff together. But you can only play in my face so many times before I realize that you're playing in my fucking face. And I have to put you into a category. I'm not even saying she can't fuck with the man, but you at least need to categorize that motherfucker appropriately. I think she's falling for the flirtation. I think that she's being charmed. She's being charmed. And I want her to like realize that he's the snake, you know, he's the snake charmer and she's the snake right now. I want her to be like, I'm fucking with this man because he's cute and I want to kiss him sometimes. And that nigga ain't shit. I need her to do both. I need her to do both. Because again, I'm not saying that you can't have no little casual, you know, hey, I want a little cuddle. I want a little, you know, I want to lips you, whatever. But also you need to remember that that motherfucker ain't shit. But you can't be googly-eyed about this man. I can't. It's the, you know, made me, I will say he didn't make her vulnerable. That's not what happened because ultimately, hi baby. I think he's downstairs. He didn't make her vulnerable because the reality is they were all vulnerable, right? All that he did was reveal he didn't want to pick her. So he was letting her know, it's not you. I would choose somebody else over you. That was a dig at her ego, but she was already vulnerable. He just happened to get spared because Sydney chose to give him immunity or whatever, right? So she wasn't going to be not vulnerable if he hadn't stood up by the box. That's not true. She was already going to have to be voted on by America. But she just didn't choose to risk being safe, right? She showed a loyalty to him by, I'm just going to be unsafe with you. And he was like, nah, yeah, fuck you, right? I will say, I do think that, and listen, people thought that Justine was going to go in to the duel. And I said to y'all, I do think that Johnny respects her game enough. I think that he wouldn't want to lose to Justine like that. I think he wants to beat her, but not lose to her like that. Not because I took you out in a duel. I don't think that that would be how he would want to eliminate her. And I also don't think Johnny was the only person running that conversation. I know that he has a lot of influence, but Tyreek also has a strong energy and personality, and he definitely was going to speak up in that room. Now, the rest of the motherfuckers, I assume, probably went along to get along to some extent, right? Like, I don't see Isaiah as being very strong-minded and 10 toes down. Like, I don't see him being like that. We know Lucinda, she just always fucking confused. Girl, be confused on your flight home. Please. Okay? Be confused on the flight home. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of you. I'm tired of it. Okay? I'm ready for Lucinda to go. The fact that Kendall was leaving, Kendall shoved Garby aside in order to hug Lucinda, who is sobbing in his arms, acting like she, oh my gosh, she pisses me off, y'all. In the room when they're voting, I feel like things are, or no, when they were sitting down, I feel like things are getting very serious. Bitch, y'all are trying to win 250,000. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? It's been serious since day one. And people like that, no, you gotta go, because then that lets me know that you're only getting by because you're not actually in this shit. You're not in it for real. It's not serious to you. Go home. Go home. Let somebody in here that's really hungry for it, that got that dog in them, that's really trying to get after it. Fuck that shit. You letting yourself flitter to the end because you are male-centered. To your point, she's extremely male-centered. She gotta go. She gotta go. Go home. Go home. Like, her just always being confused about what's happening in the game it's not cute or endearing. It's annoying to me. And then her at the end, again, she's sobbing in fucking Kendall's arms as if you're not the reason he's in the fucking duel. And now Garby, who should be sad about her connection leaving, is over here comforting you? No. And Garby, girl, stand the fuck up. Let Isaiah comfort that girl. Let her man hold her. You worry about yourself. Hey, Ray.
Were you talking about Lucinda?
Mm-hmm. What?
When you said she's not centered?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very. Listen, bae. Listen. Here's the thing, user. I don't even think Garby would do anything with it. I don't have a lot of faith in Garby as around, like, holding people accountable. Because here's the thing. She noticed that about Kendall, how he was just willing to believe Lucinda. He was willing to, like, sort of attack her character by even believing that she could be doing something like that intentionally. And she's like, I don't think he got the point. I think it actually flew over his head. He missed it, blah, blah, blah. But then you was kissing that man and, we're going to move past it. So I don't trust her to trust herself. So I think even if she watched it back and she saw, I don't trust her enough to trust herself. I think she would find a way out of that feeling. I'm sure that bombshells are going to come in. So, Garby raised Tyreek and Isaiah's heart rate the most. And Tyreek raised Garby's heart rate the most. And Lucinda raised Kendall's the most. Hi, M. So I will be curious to see. I know recoupling is going to happen because it has to happen at this point. But I'm pretty sure they'll probably bring in bombshells pretty soon. Because last season, again, I hope they don't necessarily do this, but last season they brought in 6 bombshells at the end. I don't think we need to do that. But definitely, I think that more bombshells are coming in. You feel like Lucinda wanted Kendall as a backup option if her and Zay didn't work out. I don't necessarily think that. Yeah, and they brought in a shit ton of bombshells right at the end, like with like 4 days left, 3 or 4, like not very many days left. They brought in 6 bombshells. I don't know if Lucinda wanted Kendall because they had enough interaction on the outside where I think if they wanted to pursue that beforehand, she could have. I think Maya, somebody said that they think the finale is on Sunday. I don't know if it's that soon, but I know it should be pretty quickly because I think it's only 3 weeks is I think what Ariana said on the first episode. Yeah, I think so too, user. I don't think she likes black men romantically. It's October 6th? Okay. Yeah, the finale is supposed to be on October 6th. So I do think that more bombshells will come in. I will say, I already told them my theory, but I'm not convinced that Nicola is gone. I'm not convinced. Yeah, we only have like a few episodes left. Yeah. And if y'all noticed, I don't know if y'all noticed this, right? And I know that like technically, well, never mind. This is what Maya, last season, I want to feel like it was, I want to feel like they were there for like 2 challenges before the finale. Like they weren't, the bombshells that came in, they were not there for long at all. They did the carnival challenge and then they did the, it was one other challenge I feel like they had done. When the bombshells were there. So like they were there for like 4 episodes maybe. And it was like, why did y'all even bring them in? So you think Josh might be being set up for the win? Oh, I don't know. I hope not. I don't like Josh. He's really insufferable. Like, Josh and Chris are like pretty much the same person in a lot of ways. Like, he also was crying about being put into the duel as if he didn't know it was literally only going to be you, Kendall, or Casey. Like, you had a 33% chance of going in. Why are you crying about this right now? Oh, babe, no, he literally is, from what people have said. Him and Isaiah are what people have told me. He's definitely not an underdog. The fuck? No, he's not. And he's very self-involved, in my opinion, because that's the only reason why him and Justine did not do well is because they didn't act as a couple. They didn't work together. I think that he thinks he can just be the strongest and the fastest and that's going to be enough. No. Like exactly, Dream Girl. Like, it was literally 3 of y'all. So either way, one of y'all, you should have just woke up that morning like, I might duel today. That's how you should have woke up. Because you knew you had a very high probability of going into that motherfucker. User MS, it's because I think Josh is very self-involved. And him and Justine, there was a rupture in their trust. We also have to remember that, right? Hi, Anne, right? She was not expecting him to pick Andrea. She was not expecting him to pick Andrea. And so there was a rupture in the trust. And I don't know that they ever really repaired that. He just came to her like, well, I just still want to believe that you have my back in here. Is that true? Shut the fuck up. And what's the tea? Who was it about? So like, he was not honest at all. And then he tried to gaslight her. We were all watching the scene, Josh. We all thought that you were going to stick with Justine because you said, I'm happy in my coupling right now. So what are you talking about? And then you try to act like you don't know what the fuck she's talking about. Shut up. Yes, you do. And then the only purpose, the only intention of your check-in, at least in the edit that we got, At least in the edit that we got. The only intention of your check-in was to make sure that she was still gonna have your back. Get the fuck out of my face. Get the fuck out of my face. Hi, India. So, like, yeah, I figured they may not. Exactly. He was lying like a motherfucker, and he just wanted to see if he would ever be able to switch up again. Exactly. It wasn't, hey, I still have your back. And I don't know if I'll open a panel. Hi, India. So, like, it wasn't about trying to have her back at all. It was about, what can you still do for me? No, nothing. I can't do anything. I can't do anything. Are you saying that the tea is about Kendall, Anne? So yeah, for me, Josh has been, I've been ready for him to go since the second episode. I've been ready for him to go, no, the first episode. The first episode. I've been ready for him to go since the first episode. Thank you, India. With all that mess that he was doing about Andrea being his girl and being mad at Charlie because he, like, it was giving, calm down. You've known her for 24 hours. Get over it. I think Johnny could beat him, Ash. You're happy Josh was the one to take Kendall out? I didn't care. I was just glad that they went in because I wanted one of them to go home. I didn't care who, but one of them needed to leave. But once Garby was safe, it had to be Kendall for me at that point. It had to be Kendall. Oh my God, Amara, he's so insecure. So insecure. When he was sitting down with Andrea, like, so where does that leave us? Well, do you still want me? Like, and then he pissed me off with that, oh, now I can get a kid. Like, shut the... Y'all, I'm biased. I'm biased. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not even gonna lie to you. He irritates the fuck out of me. He irritates my soul. Like, ugh. Every time he's on my screen talking, I'm just like, why is he here? Oh, now I can get a kiss? Like, why are you fishing for validation? Like, did she say it was anything different? Were you listening to her? Were you listening to her? She literally said to you, I was outnumbered. I was telling them that, you know, this bucks me in my game. Like, that's my strongest connection, blah, blah, blah. So where does that leave us? Okay, so you don't listen to women. You don't listen? Because why are you asking that question? Why are you confused based on what she just said? You weren't listening. I don't like that. I don't like that. Y'all just didn't get him long enough on the season, Tony. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know how long he was there. I just know he left. Like, you give people long enough, that mask will start to come down. And here's the thing. I don't know how old he is. I don't know how old he is. Was his season before COVID? No, it's not UK. We talked about that. Was his season before COVID? Okay, so here's the thing, Tony, because he very much gives red pill to me. There was a huge push on alt-right pipeline of men during COVID time. So if he was on social media, it's very possible that whatever fringes he may have been on, now he's like completely in that manosphere, red pill arena. And that's why he shows up the way he shows up now. And it's super fucking obnoxious. And has this like ownership of a woman that you met 24 hours ago. The fact that you know what I mean? Feel like you need to compete. My girl, this, that. So he very much may have ingested content that fueled that. And now we're experiencing him the way we are now. Because if y'all noticed, during COVID and right after, there was a big rise in that sort of rhetoric online. Yeah, it was the fact that he was mad about being put into the challenge, mad about the fact that, like, there are alliances. Like, I'm like, kind of, this is, listen, user. Listen, user. Like, that's kind of the way the game works. That's kind of the way it works. You know what I mean? You're bad. And the only guy you're close to is Kendall and kind of Isaiah. That also says something to me about how you show up in the regular world. Season 3, 2021. He's weird in general. He's weird in general. When Ty told him why they chose him, my thing is like, I don't feel like I get it, like you want an explanation, and the reality is like this is the way the game works. It doesn't matter. Somebody has to go in. Sakura, we're talking about games and Josh explicitly right now. Somebody has to go into the duel. That's literally the way that it works. Like, what do you want them to do? Tell production, we're not going to pick anybody because we like everyone and we don't want anybody to get dumped. Like, they have to pick. They have to pick. Miriam, I've been on for about an hour. Isaiah was trying to over-explain because Isaiah is weak sauce. Thank you, Miriam. I be acting like it's just so whatever, right? But like, he's weak sauce. Listen, what do I say to y'all all the time? If you don't stand for something, he's trying to play all the sides. He said he's a moderate. Like, to me, that's a weak person. I can't, no. I'm not saying that you can't have gray areas and that you can't do nuance, right? Of course. Absolutely. And motherfuckers, sometimes you got to pick a side and you got to be willing to stand on that shit. And it is what it is. Right? But the fact that you can't do that in this villa and you said that you are also this way in the real world, you're weak sauce. I'm sorry. I don't care. I don't care. It's giving. Yeah, he's not someone I would trust. He's not someone I would trust in the real world. And explicitly as a black person, he's not someone I would trust. Pick a side and let me do it for you, period. K-Dot, period. Like, another explanation didn't need to really happen, right? But what it is people keep thinking that loyalty is going to absolve them. To Johnny's point, some people feel like they're untouchable. Like, I feel like your loyalty to me should make me not be at risk. But that's exactly what the fuck Chris said, right? So for Josh to be on that same shit, again, they're the same person, just in a different type of way. Doesn't shock me, that we're seeing this with another man on the show. I do think it is a lot of UK people still there. And it's interesting to me watching a lot of them, in my opinion, sort of skate by in being there. A lot of them are not still there. Oh, Sakura, I know. And he acts like one, in my opinion, right? You act like someone that you don't understand. You want to be moderate, but you still are doing certain things that still have certain impacts, but you want to not have to be culpable for the decisions you're making is really what it boils down to with Isaiah, right? I don't want to have to be culpable for the decisions I'm making, so I want to pretend that I'm moderate while continuing to make decisions that are so harmful for people. No, baby, stand on that shit. Stand on that shit. Exactly, babe. You are picking up what I am putting down. Exactly. And so it's like, just say, we wanted to take you out because you were a strong competitor. Period. I feel like when it comes to the UK people, I don't feel like a lot of them are there because they fought in order to deserve their spot there. I feel like a lot of them have skated by. They just haven't been in a position where they're vulnerable to us. Like Lucinda. And I'm not going to get on Casey and Gabby too much because they've literally been there for like 2 days. But definitely Lucinda. Go home. But the fact that she's coupled up with Zay, like, I don't think that Zay is a strong competitor. So if it comes down to like couple stuff, I could see them being in the bottom again, depending on what the challenge is. Does Lucinda do well in challenges? Which 3 challenges did she win? She beat Sydney because Sydney fell. Which other 2 challenges did she win? That wasn't a challenge, that was a duel. I do remember when she was crying about her nail and the fake snakes. Hi, Tashina. No worries, Christina. And I want y'all to remember, I already told y'all, Andreina don't be in the gym like that. Justine really isn't super strong in the challenges, though. Because when she had the duel with Andreina, but Andreina don't be in the gym, y'all. So don't be shocked by that. Just because she got a fat booty don't mean she's squatting for that motherfucker, okay? It's genetics. It's genetics. She told us that already, right? But did she win? No, because of Tyreek. So it was Tyreek's fault that they lost that challenge. Hi, hello. So yeah, I just, I don't know about the whole Justine not doing well in challenges. Crazy, Crystal. I don't know about the whole Justine not doing well in challenges thing. When they're physical, I think Justine is really strong. But you also have to remember, I know that some people don't understand how the heart rate challenge works, so let me get into it. Too much TV. You also have to remember that the heart rate challenge is not about how many hearts you raise. It's not about how many heart rates you raise. It's about how high you raise it. So if I raise 3 people to I don't know what a raised heart rate would be, to 100 beats, right? If I raise 3 people to 100 beats, well, no, that's too high. Hold on. If I raise 2 people to 100 beats and then somebody else raises someone to 120 and then somebody else to 150, they beat me, or I'll say 3 people to 75, whatever. They're going to beat me because they raised it higher. That's how the heart rate challenge works. It's how high do you get it, not how many you get high. So depending on what resting heart rate is, a raise may not be that significant, but you just happen to raise theirs the most. But the heart rate challenge, the winner is determined on how high you get the heart rate across the board. No, it's not based on how many people. It's based on on the number altogether. How high did your team raise the heart rates? Not how many people you raised. Which is why people were like, that had to have been rigged. And I'm like, no, y'all just don't understand how they determine the winner. It's not based on how many people you raise. It's based on how high you raised it. So if nobody raised my heart rate and then you happen to raise it, well, then you raised it the most, but that's because nobody else raised it. You know what I mean? I want Justine to win games again this season. I actually don't even really care who wins. They're just people that I don't want to win. I don't want Johnny to win. I don't want Tyreek to win. And I don't want Lucinda or Josh to win. For me, I would like to see either a Garby and Toby link up. I would like to see a Justine and Toby link up, because right now, Toby's about the only guy on that island that I can tolerate. Casey is cool so far. But Toby's about the only guy on that island so far that I can really tolerate, if I'm honest. Garby and Toby, I think, could be cool. Toby definitely, I think, is willing to get rid of Sydney. Even though in their one challenge they did together, did they not do well together in their one challenge? They did. They got power couple. Ooh, no, Isaiah could go. Isaiah can get the fuck. Ty has to go. He's becoming emotionally dangerous to, exactly, bae. Exactly. That's why I use it for me. He's becoming emotionally dangerous to Justine. Here's the thing. They got, and I'm not saying that they were strong, but I'm just saying they did win power couple, but I already said that's because literally nobody was thinking about them. I actually thought that Nicola and Marvin might have gotten it, because I'm like, who's going to even be thinking about them? Like, Marvin and Sydney just came in. Nobody's going to be thinking about them to put anything into their bucket. So I bet it was probably between Nicola and Marvin and Sydney and Toby, that they were probably like neck and neck for being power couple, because who's even thinking about y'all right now? Like, you're not a threat to people. I don't think that Justine is playing mind games. I think she's getting smacked right now. That said, she is 32. So is he emotionally dangerous? Or like, yes, and I think she's also being emotionally irresponsible right now, because she already clocked some things for what they are. She didn't give a fuck enough to, again, this is why I be telling y'all, right? Like, this is the biggest thing I will see in therapy is my clients will know something up top, but it won't actually translate to actions. That's the hard part. That's the hard part, is doing it based on what you know. Ann says, hey, babe. A recoupling is coming, Dream Girl, because they don't have any other choice. Too many couples are broken up, and usually they bring in bombshells again. But I think that, thank you for the follows. Thank you for the likes. Yeah, Zay and Lucinda can go. I can tolerate Sydney right now because she's funny. She's okay for now. But I would like to see Garby or Justine with Toby, or a bombshell that comes in. So we'll see. I think that Toby can be a strong enough competitor where if he's paired with a strong enough girl, they could do well together. I don't know if they'll win, depending on what it is. But I think they could do well enough together. Yeah, listen, I can tell who's voting for games, who's voting on games from America. And I think that if it's left to America, Josh is going to get very, very, very far. Exactly. He's going to get very far based on who's voting during games right now. See, I don't even feel like he's falling for Andrea's scam. She's falling for his. I don't feel like Andrea's scamming. I think she's just male-centered. I don't perceive it as a scam. I think she likes that man. Yeah, the women aren't scamming it up at all. Like, can y'all get into your scammer bags? I could tell y'all wasn't listening to City Girls or Meg before y'all got here. Because what are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? I need y'all to get into your shit. Yeah. So those are my thoughts about games last night. Like I told y'all, Kendall definitely does not like Garby. Even when he was leaving, listen, Sakura, even when he was leaving, he was like, you know, I came in here to find a connection and I feel like I did that. Like, what are you signaling to me, Kendall? Do you believe what you're saying? Do you believe what you're saying? No, I don't think Josh is scamming. I just don't like Josh as a person on the show. I don't enjoy him. He wasn't hugging her. And when he was talking to her down on that dock, he was talking to her like he was her friend. No, he moved her whole body to give Lucinda a hug. Go watch it back. He literally like, yeah, I did, Ash. That's where I started. Well, I started on Love is Blind, but then I talked about that next. I don't even think he was attracted to her, y'all. I'm sorry. I think that he was playing the game to get to the end. She was a strong competitor. He could tolerate it. She was cool. And he knows what America does for Black love couples. That's what I think he thought was happening. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Maybe he will prove me wrong and they will link up on the outside and they will have a very loving, wonderful relationship together. I would be happy to be proven wrong. Actually, I would not be happy to be proven wrong because I feel like he's too old for her. But I'm okay with being proven wrong. I do not see it personally. Primo, that's funny. I didn't watch it in real time. I tried to watch it again, but I think it's like, for me, it loses a little bit of like the joy when I know so much about already the people. Then it's like, this is not as fun to watch to me. Like, I like when people are a mystery to me. 7 years, Ivy. She's 22 and he's 29. It's like when it's not a mystery to me, it's like, okay, well, I already know that. Like, that's not fun. I like puzzles. I'm the person that does like 1,000-piece, 1,500-piece puzzles for fucking fun. I love that shit. So I like puzzles. I like mysteries. So I like being able to decipher a person, kind of like get to what's underneath that and understand them and then be like, oh, was I right or not? Like, that's the fun part to me with watching this shit. Do I like sci-fi movies? Honestly, not really. I don't think so. I don't think I would call myself a sci-fi girly. I will watch it. But it's not necessarily like my go-to genre. I'm more of like a thriller. I love psychological thrillers. I like horror. I like, I watch action because of Chris. I like period pieces. You like action.
Yeah, but you don't watch them just because of me. Don't put that on me. And didn't y'all have this conversation last show? Let's wrap this up.
Okay, y'all, I love you. I do have to go. Is my husband older than me? Is that what you're asking yet? No, I haven't watched him yet. And I haven't watched Task. Ty and Toby have to switch up on Johnny. I think that is inevitably going to happen. But I don't think that Toby has liked the way that Tyreek is playing the game. So we'll see. I don't think he's respected the way he's playing the game. Oh, yeah. Kendall is 7 years older than Garby. She's 22 and Kendall is 29. And she's also a virgin. She's very, 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 very green compared to that man. Which y'all know what that means, right? When I say she's green, she's inexperienced. Yes. Okay, great. Y'all knew what I was talking about. Okay. All right, I love y'all down. Maybe I will go live later. I don't know. And we'll see if we can get to a panel at that point, but I do gotta go take care of some business. I know, Kendall's whack. Kendall's whack. I'm glad he's gone. I'm glad he's gone. Okay, I will see y'all later. Thank you so much. Have a good one. Yes, I'm gonna definitely start Love is Blind reviews. I'm gonna try to do every single episode, user. So when I finish today's episode, I'll probably make a video and upload it. I'm going to try to do each of the 6 episodes, make a separate video, and then definitely we will start getting into it for sure. Because it's very good. If y'all are not watching it, go watch it. Okay, love y'all. See you later. Bye.